In Lisbon in 2018, ahead of an evening training session, a group of masked men broke into the changing rooms at Sporting Club de Portugal's training ground. The violence was shocking. Dutch striker Bas Dost was thrown to the floor and assaulted, leaving him with visible cuts on his head and legs. By the time it subsided, the list of victims included manager Jorge Jesus, 6 players and a couple of the backroom staff. As a result of the attack, 9 Sporting players, including current Manchester United player Bruno Fernandes, cancelled their contracts with the team, claiming just cause and citing the attack in their defence. It was unquestionably a low point in Sporting's history, but it came at the end of a general decline that began in 2002, with what was then the last league title in 18 years. 6 years on, however, and the outlook at Sporting is very different. 2 league titles, a couple of domestic cups, and €270 million net profit. So how was this turnaround possible? Well, the answer has a lot to do with Ruben Amorim. In April 2017, a 32-year-old Amorim terminated his playing contract with Benfica, having spent the majority of his career at the Portuguese club. A central midfielder, he'd also made a number of appearances for the national team, although knee injuries had curtailed his career somewhat. In retirement, he turned to coaching, and his rise was meteoric. He started at 3rd Division side Casapia in the 2018-19 season, before moving to Braga to take over their B team. Within 3 months, he was coaching the first team, and 3 weeks after that, he led Braga to victory in the final of the Taça da Liga, beating Porto to give them their first trophy in 4 years. And it didn't stop there. After only 13 games of coaching Braga, of which he won 10, Sporting Club de Portugal came calling. And despite Amorim having just 2 months' experience in the top flight, Sporting paid a massive €10 million buyout clause to bring him to the club, which at the time was the 3rd highest fee ever paid for a manager in European football. But it paid off. Within 2 years, Amorim had led Sporting to that first league title in nearly 2 decades, and would make competition success a regular occurrence during his time, helping to break the duopoly that had emerged in Portugal between Benfica and Porto. So how did he do it? Well, first and foremost, he made them better at football. The opening of the 2018-19 season was a watershed in Amorim's coaching career. Having lost his first 2 games as a head coach, working with Casapia in the Portuguese Campeonato, he was ready to quit if things didn't improve immediately. But he wasn't going down without a fight. He made the bold decision to change his team's structure, moving from a 4-4-2 shape to a very different 3-4-3 system. 7 seasons and 3 teams later, Amorim still uses this system. There is some flexibility within his approach, but in general, the 3-4-3 structure is preserved as his teams move through the phases of play. The benefit of using a fairly settled structure in different phases of play means that his teams are incredibly familiar with the system and are able to move between phases without the structure falling apart or any uncertainty creeping in. Unlike some other elite coaches, for Amorim, it's less about making broader structural changes and more about being able to achieve advantages through how you utilize the players themselves and the dynamics between them. All of which has made Amorim the perfect antidote to a team in crisis, because by implementing a consistent structural approach with a focus on getting the most out of the individuals within it, he raised the floor for Sporting and moved them back to the top of the table in Portuguese football. But although Sporting's footballing success has played an important role in Ruben Amorim's rise to prominence, it is only part of the story. There were a lot of issues and changes at Sporting, says José Chiera, Amorim's former head of scouting, in an interview with Charlotte Harper of The Athletic. Every department was being built from scratch. When Ruben arrived, he brought a different culture to the club, the board, to everyone there. What Sporting were looking for when Amorim arrived was not just a coach. They needed a uniting figurehead. Amorim possessed an impressive array of soft skills that made him perfect for this task. An outstanding communicator, he was engaging and persuasive. He's a very complete profile, larger than life in a good sense, Chiera continues. At Sporting, there is a time before and after Ruben Amorim. And now, in 2024, he faces his biggest challenge yet, as head coach of Manchester United, another club in need of revival. Time will tell whether Manchester United supporters will also enjoy the benefits of a time before and after Ruben Amorim. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and James Horncastle. With the latest transfer news and insight on every Premier League football story that matters, theathletic.com puts you inside football. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.